I screwed up too, Rob.
Medication.
Woo,
Right?
there we go. What's up, guys? This is Dam
Guess who?
NXT
Guess
info.
who?
It's a Thursday. It is cold as F up in Pittsburgh, and it's a little cold over in Las Vegas. And guess who's here, guys? Guess who is here? But he's in Las Vegas at the same time. I'll give 2 seconds. 1, 2. It's Rob Van Dam. Rob, how are you, man?
I was gonna say Finley. Damn it.
You know
All good,
what?
dude. Happy happy Thursday.
Happy
That was just
Thursday.
random. And yep, it's garbage day again, dude.
Garbage day, man. My favorite day. You know, when I was in Philly for NXT, I hit Fit Finley with my book bag, and not intentionally.
Did he stretch you?
He did. He put me in a sleeper, and then he threw me again. He threw me against the that barricade there that's in the back.
Nice. He's praying with
Yeah.
the book bag.
yeah. Just because I accidentally hit him with my book bag. So, but yes, we are here. We are live on OneTrueSportTV.com and on Rob Van Dam's YouTube channel at The Real RVD. So be sure to subscribe to both of those. And if you haven't yet, you'll see a little logo that's right above me. It's called OnlyWrestlers.com. Boom. You sign up for that for free. You can subscribe to Rob's channel on there for free, Katie's channel on there for free, and the Only Wrestlers account for free. And then there's plenty more on there, plenty of talents on there. And the platform is growing. Rob is having some good ideas brewing already. And so he's got some good stuff happening over there. Any updates you want to give on anything like that, Rob, or what you have planned going forward with it?
Hopefully the community chat room will be set up tomorrow. That's what we're hoping for. But if not, then we might have to wait over the weekend. But hopefully tomorrow, and then we'll be able to all communicate with each other, because right now there's not like an infrastructure for communicating other than messaging each other and replying to messages or something. But this is going to be a big game changer for us, and one of the bigger improvements that we've been waiting on. So that's the big update. I think we got like 200 wrestlers now.
Whoa.
Yeah, and it it keeps growing, and of course we're promoting it in stages too. Like, we still got a lot of places we haven't hit, but with the word's getting out there, and with the cool name, Only Wrestlers, and just the whole idea, it's something that we're not going anywhere, so we're just going to keep getting bigger and bigger.
Absolutely. It's good stuff. It's really good stuff, and plenty of great talents on there, from legendary talents like Rob and Sabu. Fonzie's on there. We got Violent J's on there. But then you have a lot of newer talents too that are just cutting their teeth and getting their names out there and stuff like that. So it's a great way for everybody to connect with. The fans can connect with the wrestlers, and there's a lot more to come for that. So boom, like I said, OnlyWrestlers.com. Sign up right now if you haven't done that, and be sure to get the word out about it. Hey, we got a lot of regulars in the house. We got Maddie in here. We got Triple E in here. We got a lot of good folks hanging out and ready to interact and ask some questions. So
I like orange, brother. I better not be orange.
I better not be orange. Yeah, see, you're very saturated. I'm very toned down because I have a different web camera on right now.
You're gonna get me heat. It's probably, I don't know for sure, but I know Katie did something with the light bulbs in the ceiling. Because they were flashing, and now there's a remote control to the actual light bulbs themselves, like not the dimmer switch, and it changes colors and flashes and stuff. So I don't know, but that might be why I'm slightly reddish.
Well, your lighting arrangement is like the best, because it's I don't know. Anytime when I'm like clipping up for clips for the channel and stuff like that, I always see the lights change. I'm like, dude, that's so fucking cool. I want that shit in my apartment.
Hey, that reminds me. I need to find, unless maybe next week we redo it like you've said. But if anyone in the chat room remembers when I opened up the packages that were from Matt's supplements. And I talked about my friend John Drake in Georgia. I was just always sent me these supplements, and he's really cool. And if you remember which episode that was on, let me know, because I want to find that and send that to him because he would like to have it. And if not, then we do have a plan B.
Yes.
Sending me more stuff anyway. So I'll have some more stuff probably to open up next week. But otherwise, if you know in the chat room and you know, let me know.
Let him know. Let him know. Hey, if you guys want to know about something else too, you can look behind Rob there. I'm going to put him on full screen, and you can check out that RVD 420 Greek glass. He's got all the glassware up on his counter back there, and you can get some of that glass too by going to greekglass.com or rvd420.com. Either will take you there, and they got exclusive RVD glass there, and it's some pretty awesome stuff. So, Rob, do you remember you showed that one doohickey part that they had last time? It was like a filter or something like that. Do you know what did we decide what that was for or how'd that work? Remember that little thing? It looked like a little thing that you put a mini boat in or whatever.
This thing, right? Yeah.
Yeah, that thing.
No. Katie said that she thinks she saw one of our friends drinking smoke out of one of these.
Oh.
But yeah, I really don't know.
I'll have to text the guy at Arco and see what it was.
It's still right here on the table to try to figure out what to do with it.
Well, gang, feel free to use the super chat, get engaged, and ask a question. I always try to keep my eyes peeled for questions too, even if they aren't super chat.
Speaking of getting engaged, those flowers are from my mom.
Oh, really?
I gotta let her know that we got them, and they are for Rob and Katie's anniversary, which just passed.
Really?
Yep.
When was your anniversary?
11/11.
Oh, that's right. Happy anniversary.
It's going to be 11. Thanks, dude. It's going to be 11/11/2020 because it sounded cool, but then with the COVID, we ended up pushing it back a year. We've been together a lot longer than that. We've been together almost 9 years now.
Yeah.
Just had our marital anniversary.
How about that? Well, happy anniversary to you and Katie, Rob. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah,
you're welcome, man. That's great. Man, that's cool. Yeah, it's got to be a good feeling. You guys have such a positive relationship, and it was cool to see you two together too, and Philly and everything like that. And it's, you want that kind of good energy when you're married and everything like that. I've seen plenty of other relationships that aren't like that, and you guys. The name of the show is One of a Kind, and you guys are one of a kind together. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. I wish happiness on everybody, but a lot of people, a lot of my peers shoot themselves in the foot, and work against themselves. And so, I see it happening when they treat their marriage like it's shit. And then they wonder later on, why their wife has to be such a bitch. Oh, I can't stand being around her because you've been such a dick to her after she sacrificed her life for all these bullshit promises you gave her, dude.
Yeah, right.
But it's all priority. It depends on, for some people, maybe that's all they want is just someone to raise the kids and stay home. If so, then they got that, but eventually they're going to be home too, because they're going to have to, when they're not on the street no more, they got to find somewhere to go if they don't want to be home,
Right, exactly. Yeah. Oh man, yeah, tough times on the road. Balancing the family life's tough in the first place, but when you're on the road too, it makes it a little bit tougher. It's always good to find the balance, but it's tough to do, especially back in the day like that too. But Rob, talk a little bit about NXT and being in Philly and that atmosphere there. Definitely a different vibe with WWE being in the ECW arena than a lot of the promotions that come on through. It was neat to see the production and how it was set up and everything like that. You guys did some cut scenes and certain things like that to get everything set up, but it was neat to be in that environment. Talk about your experience there a little bit.
Yeah, it felt really welcoming. Everybody from top to bottom was super cool, and everyone went out of their way to make me feel welcome if and when I want to come back, which I got some unsettled business now with Wes and his punk ass. And they all seem really legit, it's really cool. Everybody's happy. They all grew up watching my generation of wrestlers, so they're really stoked to have us there working with them. They value our perspective. It's really cool. Did you happen to see we did one video, I guess, just for social media with me and Kehlani when we're both doing the splits on the chairs?
Yeah, so I watched it from afar when you guys were shooting.
Oh, when we were doing it. Oh, okay.
When you were doing it, so I was watching it happen, and yeah, I caught that. That was a pretty neat. I didn't see you because the camera guy was in the way a little bit, so I didn't see your foot up against hers. And I was like, when I saw the actual video, then I was like, oh, that's pretty sweet. They were doing that to you. I was like, that was cool.
Yeah, I've always had that in mind, thinking we got to do that eventually.
Yeah,
and I'm glad we knocked that one out. Yeah, but it was kind of weird. It was crowded back there, and the camera angle was like from our side, a side view. Oh, so you could see that we're doing the splits across the chairs, but only from like from a two-dimensional kind of look at it. So, but anyway, that's cool. I hope that gets a lot of play, because the show-off factor.
Yeah, absolutely. Something that I thought was neat too, and like it didn't dawn on me, I think, till after I left the show. But it was the show opened with the women's match and then closed with the women's match too. And it was like as much as a highlight as the ECW experience was there. And they did that awesome intro where they blended you guys in with the NXT talent and they had the ECW music playing. But it was a very much showcase of the stacked women's roster they had on the show too. So I thought that was kind of neat as well. So
yeah,
pretty cool stuff. Now I ran into Booker T backstage too, and I mentioned the Shoop thing, and he got a kick out of that. But did you get to chat with Booker a little bit and everything like that too?
A little bit, not much.
Yeah,
not much. Yeah, but I see him every once in a while, and that's how it is in the business. It always has been for me anyway, unless I have someone specific to talk to him about. Hey, Book, I'm gonna be coming out to Houston in a couple of weeks, and boom, boom, boom. But otherwise, even if I don't see wrestlers for a couple of years, then when I see them, it's pretty much just a big hug and just like, man, look at you. All right, there you go.
Yeah, there you go, buddy.
Yeah. So I didn't talk to him a whole lot, didn't catch up, but did get to see him, something I was gonna say before you said Booker T or something. What was it we were talking about?
The women's roster and that.
Yeah, I guess I was gonna say, yeah, they're pretty strong with the women. I know they had the 10 women tag match at the end that you're talking about, which was like 5-on-5, and man, there's a lot of room to show skill in a match like that, and there's a lot of room to show, vulnerabilities or weak spots in a match like that too. And I don't know. I think they pulled it off, and I didn't see like the whole thing, but sometimes in a match like that, I'm afraid maybe if it was like in the other company, there might be a lot of spots on there that I would say, like, you know what, they shouldn't do that. If they're not good at it, they shouldn't do that. If you're not good at punches, don't throw punches. If you're not good at chops, don't throw chops. If you're not good at forearms, don't throw forearms. You're not until you become good at it, But a lot of green wrestlers are still doing things that they're not that good at on TV, and overall, that's something I would put a stop to. And I'm not saying anything specifically about the girls, just the thought of it. I could picture a lot of things going wrong, like if the girls weren't ready. And I guess what I'm saying is that I'm impressed with the standards, the workmanship, the level that everyone is at there at NXT in comparison with other wrestling products that are on TV. And there are a few, now that I think about it, there are a few that I nitpick specifically. There's some of the girls, one of the girls specifically, I'm always telling Katie, look at this, look what she just did here, look what she did here. And I'm always, pointing out, but maybe I'll tell her and then she'll get better.
Yeah. That's the thing too, is like the ability to have like the constructive criticism and people to kind of like adhere to it, or at least like take note of it and be cognizant of what they're doing in the ring. When I was there, I talked to one of the big creative minds back there. And like, I just knew him from a previous thing I was doing. And the interesting, and I'd love to get your thoughts on this too, is he mentioned how a good part of NXT and what they've been doing is the influx of non-wrestlers coming to play, but actual athletes from outside, like from the sports world and stuff, like from collegiate sports and everything like that, because they have the ability, they know the knowledge of being in an environment where they're in organized sports, and then there's the coaching element that comes into play, and the ability to take some criticism and know how and take direction in certain things like that. Whereas like if you're a wrestler and you're trying to work your way on the indie scene and stuff like that, you're kind of defending for yourself. You're very protective and thoughtful of how your character's portrayed and how you're portrayed in certain things like that. And you're kind of swimming in like almost shark infested waters in a certain way. Maybe that mentality is coming into play, but some of that stuff too, if they're not in organized sports, they might not be used to criticism. But he was saying how that if you pair that up with a bit of a learning curve of learning the wrestling terminology and promo class and certain things like that, the athletes have really flourished and really shown an ability to that. Have you kind of in your career, when like you worked with wrestlers that are and then
I gotta go answer this.
Go for it. No problem. Yeah, I can do a little advertisement reading.
Okay.
So you're totally fine. Guys, real quick, I wanted to tell you a little bit about Mando. I never do ad reads on here like in person. So Mando, though, is one of my favorites. And it's been one of my favorite sponsors that I've had on any of my podcasts that I do. So I want to just say it is football season. And time for tailgates, touchdowns, and Sunday cookouts with the crew. And why is Mando the MVP at least? Because it is clinically proven 72-hour odor control. So it's perfect for long days at the game or at the bar. Safe for the whole body, the pits, the package, the feet, everywhere in between. Yes, even after those tailgate sprints to the restroom. Stop odor before it starts. It's available in 3 formats: invisible spray, solid stick, and invisible cream is the deodorant. And it comes in 4 cologne quality scents: bourbon leather, Mount Fuji, Pro Sport, and Clover Woods. My favorite, boom, I got it right here, is the Mount Fuji. It's the stick. I also got the bar of soap as well, and I love the bar of soap. I also have the deodorant wipes and the cream. I haven't even tried the cream yet. I'm saving that for later on, as well as a body wash. And you can get all that. It's a starter pack, and you can get it. It's perfect for the new customers, and that's what I got too. Or to secure your last-minute stocking stuffers, too. It could be great for that. It comes with the solid stick deodorant, which I got right here, the cream tube deodorant, the 2 free products of your choice, like the mini body wash or the deodorant wipes. I recommend the deodorant wipes and the bar of soap. Plus, you get free shipping. And luckily, I have a discount code to help you get hooked on the favorite smelling whole body deodorant on the market. New customers get $5 off a starter pack with our exclusive code. That equates to over 40% off of your starter pack. Use code, guess what it is, RVD at shopmando.com. That's SHOPMANDO.com. Please support our show. Tell them that we sent you. Don't let BO keep you on the bench. Smell better naked with Mando. And so there we go. Mando's great. So thank you, Mando. But guys, I do see I have a couple questions here for Rob. I know Instagram of Wrestling and Storing has something. Frankie, who always asks good questions, has one in there. Maddie has a question, I know. So we'll be covering all those kind of grounds and stuff like that. Ooh, that's an interesting question, Instagram Wrestling and Storing. I'll be intrigued to ask Rob. Hey, if you guys haven't yet checked it out, because Rob and I were away this past week, I posted a Bret Hart interview that I got to do last week with the Hitman. And we talked an hour and a half about the late Leo Burke from Stampede Wrestling. So, and if you're not familiar with him, Bret makes you familiar with him and kind of ties in a lot of his history with Leo's history and what he learned from Leo, from ring psychology, which was a big aspect. And then just the kind of person that he was and the influence that he had on Bret's career and other people's careers like Edge, Adam Copeland, or like Christian Cage, Mark Henry, Ken Shamrock. Bret shares some interesting stories about Ken Shamrock in this interview. But yeah, we talked for an hour and a half long. It's long form. I was really, really happy to do it. I got to thank Brad from the Six Pack. He wrote the book, The Six Pack. So shout out to him for helping facilitate that interview. But it was a really, really great thing to talk to Bret. You can check that out on RVD's podcast feed. So you can just subscribe right up there. You can get it in audio format on Apple Music, or you can get it on the Spotify, but give us 5 stars. Let me know. Give me some feedback if you listen to it. I would love to hear what you think about it and get your opinion on all that. So, yes, that was really, really fun to do. Bret is such an influence. I love his biography. That was one of my favorite books to read and to have. So if you haven't read his book, be sure to check it out, The Hitman, because you learn a lot. He also talks about that too, and how he journaled his whole career basically via audio. So be sure to check that out.
Well, he was locked in the garage.
He was locked in the garage.
Yeah.
Oh, poor baby. Poor baby.
They never bark like when I'm looking for them and I'm calling them. They never make it easy. Like, I'm in here.
Hey.
They just keep quiet. Like
they just hang out in there.
I heard her earlier, so I knew she was somewhere on that side of the house, but then she stops. She always does that. Oh, well.
Do you mostly keep them when you have visitors come over or something like that, when you keep them in the garage, or how do you do that?
No, she's just so fucking quick. Like I went out there real quick to grab something or whatever. I didn't realize she was following me, and so she got locked out there.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, Barbie used to do that all the time too when she was younger. But yeah, she's been locked. She's been up on the roof for like 4 hours one time.
Really?
Yeah, we have it's like the roof has a deck and shit, you know.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I didn't know she was out there, followed me out there, and I left. I came back home later, and she was out there.
Yeah. How about that?
Yeah, she's gotten it quite a bit. But anyway, that's why I didn't want to give up, even though I knew those fans were going to be upset. They don't like it when I roll doobies because it's unprofessional, and I should have it
real live. This is
but
live.
I like answering the door for Amazon, but
yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, Rob. It's no big deal. Yeah. So I did want to your thoughts when you have like non-athletes coming into wrestling. Do you have you noticed that, or that kind of difference of like a wrestler that maybe hasn't had that experience or anything to that effect, or in comparison to like an athlete coming into play into wrestling? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
I think so. I'm not, if you mean now and currently, you know, love you, silly. I don't know of anybody, you know, like if they are from other sports. I remember a while ago when WWE, or maybe specifically NXT, was advertising like this all-inclusive or whatever, and they were showing like rollerbladers and everything, and I didn't get it. I thought that's silly, and they're going to be trying to make stars out of people that didn't have the passion and the desire that the rest of us did to follow our dreams and become professional wrestlers. You can't just make somebody into that, you know? So I looked at it that way. But if they are wrestling fans and they want to be pro wrestlers, I always say any kind of athletic background that you have is going to be a plus. It's going to help you. If you have martial arts or wrestling background, then of course that's going to help you tremendously to be able to be comfortable and know what you're doing in the ring. But even if it's another sport, but it's something that either you've been successful at or you've been in it long enough to at least be committed, even if it's running, you know, drills for basketball or whatever, the discipline that it takes to do that, that's a great quality to have and need when you're trying to move forward and become a pro wrestler.
Yeah. I think anything that you can bring in from outside elements that is non-wrestling, it makes it fresh and new in wrestling a lot of the times, you know, because you're putting your own spin on it. Plus you combine it with your athletic ability, but also your charisma, your presence, certain things like your look, and all that stuff really creates a nice kind of, hopefully, a star when it comes.
Well, when you look at it that way, you bring to mind Fandango, like good guy. You know, I always really liked him, and I liked his gimmick a lot. You know, maybe it's been done before, but I don't know who or where. And he was just like, he came out of Dancing with the Stars, and he already had this whole gimmick. The whole character just by shaking his hips and doing a little thrust or whatever after a move. And I thought, wow, man, that's awesome. First time I saw him, I was taken by the whole idea of that character. So in dancing, you know, I don't know if that's a sport or not, but yeah, if you want to look at it at the visible contributions that experience will have on your wrestling persona, that's a good example.
Absolutely. Yeah. And the neat thing about him too is I think he's like, his dad was like did a lot of house building and stuff like architecture and stuff like that. So he's up in Maine and he's always doing stuff like that and like building houses and construction work and all that stuff. And here, like when he went to WWE, they were like, hey, we want you to learn ballroom dancing. And he was like, sure, let's do it. And picked it up. How about that? So yeah, he's really good stuff. I love Fandango. And I love his attitude too. He's got a good persona that's really funny and kind of quirky and shit too. So and that always helps. Let's see. Okay, let's do a couple of the super chats here. Let's start off with Frankie. Frankie, thanks for the $5. He says, hey, can you give me any info on you crowd diving onto Bam Bam, Balls, and Bubba in ECW? When did Paul start giving you that kind of freedom in ECW?
I don't know that freedom was given to me. I feel like we always had it, so it was just a matter of learning what our freedoms were, what the boundaries were, boundaries of freedom and of what I'd be willing to do and wanting to do. And, you know, it was just always growing there. It was always one-upping whatever happened last week. And, you know, that's what led to me doing those dives. And the very three people that he mentioned there are the only guys in ECW that I would do that dive to, because they all were big guys, and I knew that they could catch me because it was you know, Balls Mahoney, Bubba Dudley, Bam Bam Bigelow. I was pretty heavy, you know, 235, sometimes a little more, sometimes a little less. Ass heavy too. And when I would dive out and do the somersault plancha in the air and my ass comes down, a lot of people didn't want to catch that, even right outside of the ring. Certain people, like Lance Storm, for example, would rather sidestep me. And I think that he thought eventually I would just quit doing it with him if I learned that he wasn't going to catch me. I think that was his idea, and I don't know, but I could count on it. I'd say to Fonzie, watch is going to sidestep me. I go and dive, bam, I just land on the floor, and then I wouldn't let him know, if I was hurt or whatever, because that was my personal policy. But I didn't want that happening out in the crowd in the fifth row when I'm really, getting some air and coming down with all that momentum of that travel, the velocity, the gravity, everything. I wouldn't want someone to sidestep me and me just take the bump on my tailbone in a situation like that. So I trusted those three guys.
Man, that's something you would like run over with them a little bit. It'd be like, hey, I'm gonna like, especially if it's a crowd, into the crowd and stuff like that. Like, would you kind of be like, or would that be like, yeah, I'm gonna jump and I trust you that you're gonna get me, kind of thing? Or would you like talk about it beforehand and stuff?
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah.
Interesting. Man, yeah.
It's like with Bam Bam, it was like he just threw out, some ideas.
Oh, okay.
But it wasn't, nothing was like really glued there. He was more just like, you know what, go up the top rope, boom, hit me, big crossbody, fuck it, go back up a second time, man. Hit me with another one, man. Boom, let's fucking get it going. And just kind of like kicking ideas like, yeah, that'd be awesome. And then seeing what out of that conversation actually pulled into reality when we were out there,
Yeah, and you guys created magic together, that's for sure. So pretty awesome stuff. Another super chat. This was from, and this is an interesting one. I was going to ask you about this anyways, but Maddie paid $2. He asks, prediction on
Maddie a lot on Only Wrestlers, by the way.
Say what?
I said I talked to Maddie.
Oh, do you? Nice.
Quite a bit, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Usually when I'm checking the messages, and let me see how many messages I have to reply to. Usually I got a few jokes in there from
Maddie. He drops them in there, that's for sure. He says, prediction on the Tyson fight against Jake Paul. Pretty exciting stuff, Rob. I'm excited for tomorrow. Are you going to watch?
Is it tomorrow? Fuck, tomorrow. It is.
It's tomorrow.
I want to. I guess that I'm going to make that my agenda now. I wonder if Nerd Bar is going to show it.
Probably. I bet you.
I'm going to text him and ask him right now. Man, I don't know. I really don't see it being a shoot. I don't know.
That's what I was thinking, Rob. I mean, like it's an entertainment product. You got Mike Tyson in the mix. You got Jake Paul in the mix. Could they kind of fabricate a little bit of stuff is what I was wondering,
I can't see it another way now. And I did it first. First, I was the other way, like first I was looking at it like a shoot, months ago when they were first promoting it. And then people that were like, come on, dude, it's going to be work. And they didn't even get me. Well, I guess they got me somewhat compromised on my feelings. But then just seeing some of the promos that I've seen, which I want to look at a lot more. I actually didn't realize it was that quick. But I seen Mike Tyson and Jake Paul, like when they get face to face, do a kiss. But I've seen it, like they've done it like 3 or 4 times. Like it's like a reoccurring spot where it makes me think they're having fun. They're just friends. And so that's got my perspective fucked up on looking at it, like a fight that's going to be a true test of skill. I don't know. I think they're going to do something interesting, but I don't know if I expect it to be a shoot.
Hypothetically, if it was a shoot, what would you predict to have happen?
That's a great question, and I think that maybe Tyson catches some of those powerful fucking body shots and comes, with his fucking side swinging action, couple body shots, maybe a headshot, maybe even though he's in his 50s, maybe Mike's still got too much power for anyone to handle behind those fucking attacks that he used to do. So that's my prediction. Is maybe he gets lucky. You're not lucky, but he gets to land some of those really fucking power shots, and nobody seems to be able to shake those off.
Yeah. I'm like, if it's a shoot, like I would imagine it would be quick if Tyson, because I'm thinking if it happens the way I would think it would happen, I would think Tyson, yeah, sure, he's like 50s or something like that. But Jake Paul has not really had an actual professional fight. It's all been like the amateur, like, YouTubers he's been fighting and stuff like that. And then he's already just lost. So, I mean, I would think if Tyson catches him, it's over. You know what I mean? So
that's what I'm thinking. And that, that's what, if I was a betting man, that's where my money is.
That's it too. Yes, it's gonna be fun. I'm excited, and I know it's like I can't help but think like, what are they gonna embellish a little bit of stuff? Because I keep thinking back to when Floyd Mayweather fought Conor McGregor, and it seemed like they really toyed a little bit with that.
Yeah, I was gonna, I thought of that. I was gonna ask you about that because I never saw the fight, and I don't know now if that was a work or a shoot. I think
it was a little bit of a work. I think they were definitely, at least they prolonged it a little bit, I think, than what it should have been,
Yeah, so this is gonna be like that, I think, as far as entertainment.
Because I think Floyd could have handled McGregor pretty easily if, in retrospect, of looking at it. It was just like, I think you let him hang on a little longer than usual. But we'll be interested. I'm excited to watch it either way. I'm also willing to suspend my disbelief when I watch it. So
yeah, I do. I'm glad that you told me because I do want to see it, and I would have maybe missed it.
Yeah, it's up on Netflix. Going to be tomorrow. I don't know what the time is, but
sweet.
Yeah, so be sure to check it out, guys. I know everybody's pretty excited about it all. Here's a question from Instagram, a wrestling historian. Thank you for your Canadian $2. He says, "Why doesn't Rob Van Dam like unions?" Thank you. Yeah, let it out. In with the good, out with the bad.
So, a wrestling historian.
Yes.
So I don't know that I would say that I dislike unions. Mostly when I'm having discussions about unions, it has to do with my business, my industry that I've been in for like 35 years. And I don't see a union being a good thing and working cohesively with pro wrestling. I've never understood it. I still don't. And so I'm not a fan of it. And when it comes to wrestlers wanting a union, I don't get it. So I'm not pro union, that's for sure. I know that for a lot of careers, it's the unions that helps the little guys and looks out for everybody, and it can be a good thing with certain jobs. But I feel like, first off, pro wrestling is barely even a thing. All right. I mean, when you look at it like that, when you graduate high school and they're giving you your career choices to look at, they don't throw pro wrestling down yet as a choice of something that you can follow up and do. Sure as hell didn't have any shit like that in Battle Creek, Michigan. No acting, entertainment, nothing was offered as an option or possibility. But it wouldn't be, because think of how small it is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, all this time that I've been alive, there's been like one really big company. There was like a second that was really big for so many years, a few other small ones. It was never like something that the state had a legislation over, like with boxing, the state sanctioned boxing matches. Now there's something, you can see it in every state, different levels, Golden Gloves, amateur, pro. That's something every YMCA offers. But pro wrestling is such a rare thing. You got to figure how many people out of the population are going to be pro wrestlers. Not very many. Is it going to be 1 out of 5,000 people? Not even that. Not even 1 out of 5,000 people is going to be a pro wrestler. So when you look at it, what a small entity pro wrestling is already, and then you want to put demands on wrestling? No, you just want to put demands on the one big company. That's the way it usually is when people start exploring their feelings. Are you thinking if you could get unions to work in wrestling, are you thinking Bobby Fulton's Big Time Wrestling and what the hell is the name? Cherokee? I don't remember what the name is of his
Chippewa or something.
What is it?
Chippewa? I can't remember.
Anyway, are you saying Greg Price's All-Star Wrestling in Cordele, Georgia, once a year, that should have insurance, and that should have the unions, and really people, when they're not thinking about that, they're just thinking, oh, it just seems like those guys should get treated better. And that's really what's behind it. But when you break it all down, there's only like one really big company that signs people up to contracts in the United States. There's, besides that, maybe one other company that signs people to contracts, and that's it. Mm-hmm. So do you put limits on, like, okay, well, you should have a union if you have this many people working in your company, or this or that? How do you control it so that you're not keeping the really little guys from even being able to run shows? I don't know. And then also, I think unions tend to level out the playing field in a way that I don't see working with wrestling, because when it comes to marketability, all the talent is so different and so circumstantially unique. It's hard to say, okay, you know what? This guy's been here 6 months, so he needs a raise. We're going to give him $5,000 a month more, whatever. But does he deserve that? It's just because he's been there so long? Because I think that's usually how it would work in the unions. But in this particular strange phenomenon, it's not just time on the job that's going to make you more valuable. In fact, some people have all the time in the world on a job. They've been working forever. They're the shits. They've always been the shits. Mm-hmm. And so that's not going to help them. But some of the things, like the it factor, how the crowd connects and takes to them, aren't even explainable. So when you're looking at using a union, okay, well, look, John Cena has a bus. Rey Mysterio has a bus. Okay, well, guess what? I need a bus too. Is that what the union's going to say? And should they? Is that fair? Should everybody get a bus? Or should that be something that you work out in your negotiations as an independent contractor? Because that's where I think it all falls into play. You sign a deal not as an employee, as an independent contractor, which means you're your own boss and you're leasing out your brand and your body as your business. So now What do you need? You got to have a bus. It's a debt. Boom, put it in the contract. Then you gotta have a health insurance. You want them to take care of it. Boom, put it in there. That's independent contractor, freedom, capitalist society, that kind of stuff. I can wrap my head around, but having a union work with the talent of wrestling. I mean, I could see it maybe for the crew guys. Maybe they are under unions, the guys holding the microphones. I don't know, but I can't see it for the wrestlers because of these reasons.
And that's perfect. You make the perfect point about it all too, Rob, is like, you think about, okay, it's all based on talent, and it's so subjective of who's going to be a star, who's like gonna be there for like a short amount of time, who will actually work out and pan out. You look at when it comes to organized sports or like professional sports, like the NFL or Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, like all that is primarily based on your ability to play and everything like that. Whereas wrestlers, yeah, you need to have the ability to wrestle, and you have to have that certain type of talent, but there's more involved with it from a charisma and personality, a look, everything like that. So it's all subjective, and it's all that kind of thing. And when it's an acting standpoint, if you're thinking of SAG or anything like that, Hollywood's just a big booming business that goes across the board, and that has all that money to kind of throw around. Whereas wrestling, okay, there's one big one, but that's it. Outside of it, it's like, it's not something that would be very sustainable in the grand scheme of things. So yeah, that's I think that's a great point to make. And we'll get a couple more in here. Let's see, Ken. So I just wanted to address this one real quick. Have either of you met Dominic DeNucci? Any stories? Was a favorite of mine growing up. I will clip something up for you. Rob just a couple weeks ago mentioned Dominic DeNucci and had a great story about him. So that's a really good one. I got to meet him too. He was from Pittsburgh, so I'd see him at wrestling shows and stuff like that. I got my picture with him one of the KSWA events a couple years back before he passed. So yes, Dominic DeNucci, he's a legend for sure. So
yeah, a couple years ago in Australia, he was there with Shane Douglas, and it was a really fun tour. Myself and Katie, Sabu was there, and Jeannie Tajiri was there. Just incredible. Was supposed to go, but no showed her, or something happened at the last minute, so he wasn't there. But it may or may not have been one other person. But it was so fun, and I'm honored to be in the presence of older people, even if I don't know them. Like if I see, especially, I don't know if it's, I guess it's different with men and women, somewhat, but also they both, I'm honored to be in the presence of like people that look like they're in their 90s or above, just like, it's one of those things where they don't know, but I would be a soldier for them in a heartbeat. Like if they're at the table next to me at a restaurant, there's someone like really old, they don't know how quick I would defend them if if some punk ass was trying to steal their wallet or something. You know what I mean? It's just something. Yeah. And I just feel like there's so much value in the life that people have lived when they've made it to that stage, like when they're when they're that old and the things they've seen, the changes that they've seen. I always just think like, man, I wish I could just sit them down and pick their brain and ask them a whole bunch of questions, mostly about mobsters.
Speaking of which, Rob, you might have mentioned this book before, but I was listening to a podcast and they said, is it the 5 Families or something it's named? There's like a big comprehensive book about it all, and I kind of want to get it.
Reb Selwyn, something, but yeah, no, that's a classic.
Okay, that's on my list too. I have that one you recommended too. I got
a huge list.
I still got to freaking read the Celestian prophecy too. I have that. Oh my god, so behind. All right, Rob, this is from Seth. Feel free to answer it how you want to here.
What up, Seth?
Seth, our music man, he wrote the theme song for the show. He says, "No disrespect to Guido and Bubba, but I think everyone would have rather seen RVD involved in some physicality on NXT. The way they underused you had me scratching my head. Can you speak on how that went down at all?"
Well, I will. Just like always, we are unfiltered here at the RVD head, but more time is needed to get more information. But basically, I think that you would not be wrong if you thought that maybe there was some plans that got changed, and if so, that it was done for the betterment of me and for my well-being. So let me just leave it there for now, and I will definitely talk more about this when I have more to talk about, and hopefully hopefully everybody that can relate will be glad that I talked about it. But a little early right now, though.
Heck yeah. And hey, I was a huge mark for Little Guido and him wrestling.
Yeah, I wanted to wrestle too. I was really bummed.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, but it was neat to see everybody there. I thought
I will be back too. I will be back. So there's that.
There is that for sure. He's got unsettled business with Wes. It's got to be handled.
I just teased my new tights by having them showing my legs.
That's what I was thinking. I was like, "Oh, he's got a new singlet on." I was like, "I want to see what it is." But they gave you that sweet shirt though. I didn't know you were making your shirt for that event, so that was sweet.
Yep, I fucking that was my idea.
Nice. Was it nice? Heck yeah.
Yeah, so that'd be cool to have a fucking shirt for sale and for the good fellow Philadelphians. And yeah. Anyway, it's online, I think, too, though. First they were gonna sell it online, but not at the place. But then they didn't know I was gonna be there, I guess. So I was like, why would you not have it there? And then they're like, oh, he's gonna be there. Okay.
Yeah, they had a sweet shirt for you there. I think they had a Dudley shirt. I can't remember if they did or not. But then they had the 2300 shirt, and then they had an NX F&T shirt, like the ECW team.
Nice.
Looking too. Yeah. But I thought it was neat that they kind of made some pleasant surprises on NXT when it came to some of the people that showed up. Like Francine was there, Dawn Marie was there, Rhino made a surprise appearance. I was at the pisser, and so I just heard a huge pop while I was pissing and looking at the ECW mural. And I was like, who's that went out there? I thought it was like Devon. And sure enough, Rhino was there. And I only saw that after the fact when I went home. So I was like, I didn't even know Rhino was there.
That was fun.
Yeah.
There are still a few of us that can still wrestle, like sometimes I think, but now, I mean, there's at least Bubba and Dreamer and fucking Rhino besides me.
Yeah, absolutely. I loved it too when Tony D'Angelo was giving like Nunzio the choke slam or whatever, and Nunzio did the sign of a cross because he did the Undertaker when the Undertaker gave him the last ride. He did that too with him, so I thought that was a neat little callback.
I love Little Guido.
Me too.
Always.
Oh, great stuff. Here's an interesting question. Mackenzie asks, Mr. Perfect was in the recent WWE 2K24 downloadable content pack. Did you ever work with him during his short 2002 run or during his WWE return? Did you work with him back then, Rob? Do you remember?
Yes, I did. In fact, there's a couple of our matches that are floating around online because they were TV matches. Yeah. I was pretty new to the company, and one thing, like before I was there in WWF, like years ago, when I was a fan and watched it, um, this process that they had to film the matches was a little different. And if they would have a match, say, Chris, let's say Tatanka out there, and he had a match, and then it was like the shits. When he would come back to the Gorilla, they would say, "Now go back out there and do this, fucking do that match over." And he'd have to turn right around and do the match over if it sucked. That was before, I guess, everything was live, obviously. And when in 2001 and 2002, they were just like getting out of that phase. And the reason that I know that and that it sticks out in my mind so much is that Kurt Hennig and I did something. He, I guess, shot me into the corner and came at me, and I think I backdropped him to the floor and then did like a crossbody out to the floor, boom. And he kicked me and threw me back inside, and then he talked to a camera guy, some crew guy there, and then he came back and he grabbed me and he goes up, do the same thing again. And I'm like, what? And he said, same thing, give me a backdrop, shot me to the corner, and we did, gave him the backdrop, crossbody, and the camera guy had missed it or whatever, so they just had us do the exact same spot over again. And this is in front of a live crowd,
Yeah.
Imagine when they used to have to go back out and redo like the whole match, spot for spot, if it was spotted out, like a 3 or 4 minute match, whatever it was, and the crowd would be, maybe confused and maybe, also probably don't know exactly how to react, how to cheer or pop if they've seen it a couple of times already. But yeah, that was a little different. That was before the pressure of, you got to do it right the first time. There's no second time.
Man, that's wild. Yeah, that has to. Does that kind of? It has to take you out of the element of it a little bit when you have to redo something, right? It's gotta.
It does. When I think about that moment, though, I just felt like, man, it seems like it was so long ago. I felt like I was young and green, and just a kid. Probably also because I was working with Mr. Perfect, and I watched him growing up. So I kind of just felt like I was a kid and was trying to, not disappoint him and maybe listen to him, and hopefully he would be happy with the match.
Yeah,
I was a mark. I was always a mark for Mr. Perfect.
How was it working with him overall? Like, did you find you blended well with him, I guess, for lack of a better phrase?
Yeah. I didn't like his ribbing, like it would sometimes go too far, and I don't get what the humor is in it,
Yeah.
For example, we were somewhere that wasn't the United States. It might have been Canada. I don't know. But we had a small little, it could have been Europe, who knows, but a small little like a charter airplane that we were all on. And then we would land at a private airport. And then some people would come out and they would load up their luggage cart and then move the luggage cart around to the front where you could then pick up your bags and stuff at this particular town that we were in. If I thought hard enough, I guess I could probably come up with it, because I'm remembering more details right now as I'm picturing. Oh my God, what a horrible fucking story, though. So we land, and hey, I was riding at that time with Sean Stasiak. We were partners on the road, just sharing the car. And Sean thought he would help the guy, the older guy that worked at the airport that was loading up the luggage onto the luggage moving wheelie machine. And anyway, Sean put his fucking bag down for a second and he's helping the guy. Boom, boom, boom. And then they bring all the luggage out for everybody. And now Sean turns around and his bag is gone.
Ugh.
And he just set it down. And anyway, that became such a problem because we looked everywhere. After the show, I had to go with Sean back to the airport. He looked at security footage, and everything. And the thing is, like, everybody knew that Kurt Hennig took it.
Yeah.
And it was weird because they had a relationship that I am not part of, obviously. But Sean said that Kurt used to always give him a hard time because Kurt used to wrestle with Sean's dad.
Yeah. Stan. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So Sean being the son, he said Kurt always gave him a hard time, like a little brother, but pain in the ass, like always ribbing him. And anyway, that night at the airport, man, I heard Dave Hebner, or was it Earl?
It's hard to tell.
Right. It was Earl though. And he's talking to Kurt. He's going, man, come on, Kurt. I know it was you. And he's going, man, I swear to God, Earl, on my mother's life, or whatever he said. I'm paraphrasing, I don't know, but he was just like, I wish I knew. He's like, come on, if you just, just where is it at? If you could just tell him where it's at, because it became a thing where we're all held up. We couldn't really fly out without it. Although we did, because Kurt never ever sold it. The whole time he was just like, I wish I did. I have no idea. It wasn't me. I swear it wasn't me. And Sean had a lot of personal stuff in there, not only his wallet, money, ID, but even a video camera that had sentimental old footage of when he was younger with his family that's not even alive anymore and shit. And I didn't get what could be so funny about taking that and hawking it and putting it in the trash or whatever was done with it.
Oh man. Yeah, it's the ribbing stuff is you hear the lighthearted ribs like that Owen Hart used to do and things like that. And that was not in jest, but it never was long term, or putting somebody in a situation like that in a foreign country where you're just stressed out in general, and then you've got to worry about that on top of it. That's not fun. It's not fun at all.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kurt was fun to watch in the ring, though. I will say that.
That he was.
Yeah.
He just needed to get in trouble. He couldn't be fine just sitting on an airplane seat, just relaxing until you get somewhere. He'd be looking around, who can I fuck with? He just had that about him. He thought that was his duty to fuck with people and haze anybody that was not Mr. Perfect.
What was he the one that cut Michael Hayes' hair on the plane ride from hell? Was that him?
Yep, sure was. Well, him and X-Pac, and they both showed it to me together at the same time. They had it in a plastic bag taped to the wall in the dressing room, and they were both sitting next to us saying, look what someone did, and it's like, oh my God, you guys.
Jeez. Yes, Hayes.
He was pissed. I didn't see it, but I heard He was very mad.
I can't remember what I was listening to, but I heard the story where he lined everybody up and was like, "Who did it? Who did it?" And like that kind of
I
thing.
don't remember that.
No, okay. I heard a story about that.
Sounds a little familiar though.
Yeah.
But that was the plane ride from hell. That was a crazy fucking.
My goodness.
Wasn't it? It was, right?
Yeah. That was part of it.
Yeah.
That was part of it. Holy smokes. So, Maddie with another super chat here. RVD, do you have any paranoid schizophrenia mates that you know? Anybody that has schizophrenia that you're aware of? Maddie said he had a friend, so that's why he asked.
I don't think so. Not that I know of. There's one. The only one I can think of, definitely not a friend, not even someone that I know, but a recent stalker that I mentioned something about that I notified the FBI, and then it got all over the internet. Sports Illustrated wanted to interview me on it, which I didn't hit him back. This person is like infatuated with Katie and was writing some really deep, crazy stuff about how he would kill or stab anyone trying to get between him and Katie, and he loves her, and how her husband doesn't really love her. He only pretends, but it was a lot about stabbing and killing, and the person, everything they posted, when they refer to themselves as Michael Myers and have a picture of the character, the killer, right? That person they went and they opened up a different account, and they have two different account names that sound almost exactly alike. And the person has a male and a female identity.
Whoa.
And one of them seems to be a fan, and one of them seems to be a hater.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's kind of wild. Oops. I meant to zoom back. That's wild.
Movie, drawing, gamer, something like that. I think that's the name of the Twitter, movie, drawing, gamer, or gaming. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, like right away, that was one of the first things we saw was the male and female identity. And then, then once they both started communicating with us, then it was like, okay, well, I don't know anybody else that could compare to that.
Right, man. Yeah. I don't know anybody that had schizophrenia. I'm sure I think there was somebody in my hometown that did or something like that, but yeah, it's an issue, that's for sure. Yikes. Let me see if there's any other good questions here. Mackenzie did ask Rob, yeah, are you going to reveal your new attire from last week?
I am, and just like everything else, I need a little time. Ideally, with that one, hopefully, I will be revealing it on NXT and WWE, and not here, but it could be here. Maybe it's the podcast, but I got to focus on getting back in there to my place, to my turn to step up to the plate again. I got to make that happen.
Heck yeah. Frankie added a little clarification to his the freedom thing he was asking about with the
Freedom Fighters.
Freedom Fighters. He said by freedom, I meant like those 30-minute matches. He was meaning like the length of the matches.
Oh, what was the question?
So his original question was, can you give me any info on your crowd diving onto Bam Bam Balls and Bubba in ECW? When did Paul start giving you freedom in ECW? So maybe like match length or the kind of time frame that you could have and work with and play around with when you're in the ring.
I don't understand.
So he said, so by freedom, I meant those 30-minute matches. So, yeah, Frankie, do you mean by the length of the matches, or do you mean like what he's able to do in the ring exactly? So if you can provide clarification, do so if you can.
Because, right when I came in to ECW in 96, January of 96, when I wrestled Sabu, like my first time at the Philly Arena was Axel Rotten, but then I wrestled Sabu and we went as long as we wanted, 15, 20 minutes, maybe 25 minutes. And then we wrestled again because we had this thing going with the matter of respect. And then we had to have the stretcher match, and we had to have, Hardcore Heaven. Maybe that was matter of respect. It was 3 or 4 rematches. That was when I was brand new there. I hadn't even come up with the thumbs yet. It was more like this,
Yeah.
So I'd be like, "What? You love Sabu? Don't you mean here? Aren't you trying to cheer RVD? It's RVD, people." Anyway, I had freedom, from the get-go.
Yeah. Cool. Awesome. Yeah, so there you go, Frankie. Nice question. All right, Rob, you good? He said, Maddie asked this, Dom RVD tag team versus who? So I know who I'd want to face with Rob tagging up. I'd face my brother Marcus. That's who I'd go up against. Rob, you pick your other opponent, but I would pick Marcus for my opponent. That'd be it.
What about Sabu and Joe
Henry? I think he just said Sabu versus Joe Henry. He wants to see Sabu versus Joe Henry. So I think that's a match he wants to see on the list.
Is Joe Henry in NXT?
So he made some appearances in NXT, but he's part of TNA. But I don't know. He might be NXT bound. I have no inside information on that, but just context clues. I'm thinking maybe he might be NXT bound. So
maybe that'll be Sabu's big retirement match.
That'd be a good one.
I would like to wrestle against your brother and Bill Apter.
Yes, perfect.
The match.
Take out
a rematch from the famous Office match I had with Bill Apter in 1996.
Oh my gosh!
When I just laid down the cabinet, dropped a leg on him, trashed the place. With one of his proudest moments.
I bet. Tore up a picture of Andy Kaufman in front of him.
Yeah. Kick.
I like it. Yeah, well, man, we'd whoop their ass, Rob. Let's see here. There was one thing I wanted to talk to you about. Shoot. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, here we go. This is what it was. So this is an interesting question. I need to pull up the article real quick. Matt Riddle. Deals with Matt Riddle and Randy Orton. And I thought you would have an interesting perspective on this. Here it is. Matt Riddle reveals why Randy Orton initially disliked him. So him and Randy obviously became tag team partners and tag team champs. But he was speaking with Barstool, Matt Riddle was, and he revealed that he didn't shake Randy's hand when he came into the locker room because he didn't want to look like a fanboy. So this is what he said. Before we actually wrestled a full match, Randy wasn't a huge fan of me. I guess he thought I was disrespectful because I had my headphones on. He came in the locker room. Everybody was shaking everybody's hand. He said, I didn't want to be like a nerd and go over. I didn't want to do that, so I just gave him like a head nod. I was waiting for my chance to shake his hand, but I guess he took that as disrespect. I wasn't blowing him off. So he said, later on I did a promo with is that the right one? Later on I did a promo with Asuka where I forgot my lines. I had this long segment about talking about robots in Japan, and I forgot it. I didn't know where we live. I thought we were recording. When I did that, I was like, oh no, I'm probably in trouble. When I went to the locker room, the first person that said anything was Randy. He goes, I don't know if that shit was planned, kid, but that was the funniest shit you've done since you've been here. That was your best promo yet. I was like, well, at least Randy liked it. And then Vince and Bruce and everybody else that was in creative also enjoyed it. So, yeah, I guess what I kind of wanted to ask in regards to stuff like that is...
What did he say about what was the promo? I was reading was reading Maddie Marijuana's jokes over here.
Oh, okay. So apparently he had a promo. So so he did an infamous backstage promo where he forgot his lines. So apparently it was a promo with Asuka, and he said later on I did a promo with Asuka where I forgot my lines. I had this long segment talking about robots in Japan, and I forgot it. I didn't know we were live. I thought we were recording. When I did that, I was like, "Oh no, I'm probably in trouble."
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so
they
loved it, and Randy loved it. So I guess that's how he got on his good side again, or something.
Okay, yeah. The whole shaking hands and meeting somebody can be awkward, you know.
Yeah.
I think that I must be an awkward handshaker because a lot of times when I meet somebody, a lot of it's like maybe I'm going for a handshake, they're going for a hug, or they're going for knucks, I'm going for a handshake. And it doesn't mean that it's all my fault, but it happens, I shake so many hands that I'm always, if it doesn't match up, I'm always like, I'm used to it, being awkward. It happens like all day. I'm really awkward when it comes to hugging girls for some reason, especially divas. Whenever I hug them, for some reason, my shoulder goes right into their chin every time. I don't know why.
Didn't that happen with you and Stephanie?
All the time, and I used to step on her feet, though.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think.
Listen, Rob, at least you're athletic in the ring, and you're like athletic in general. I'm completely a klutz, like across the board. It doesn't matter. So
I turn it on for a little while.
Yeah. Well, we have almost 7,000 people tuning in live. So thank you everybody for tuning in. And
everybody sign up onlywrestlers.com for free. You can get exclusive content. And I can talk about stuff there that I don't talk about even on here. And then we're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff moving forward. My partners are already talking about planning the wrestling shows and getting the fans to vote on decisions like which championship belts they have and what the belts look like and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff isn't as important to me, but it will be to the fans, of course, and it even is to a lot of other wrestlers. I've never really been a belt person where I recognize the belt by who wore it or matches or whatever. Unless it's one of mine, then I might remember it because I might have seen a lot of photos of me holding that belt, or I might remember carrying that belt around in my bag for a long time. Then I'll be like, oh yeah, the Intercontinental belt, that's cool. But the belts just Sabu told me when I got way back when I started getting trained, one thing Sabu said that stuck with me was he said, if you wrestle and the promoter says, that he will give you some money or he'll give you the belt, he says, take the money every time. He says, because you can't eat a belt.
That's true.
That makes sense.
It does make sense.
I know for a lot of wrestlers, like they really like the belts, the championships, exactly how the details in it and everything, and that's cool. I'm just not one of those people, but we're gonna have voting soon for all of our association that does care to add their 2 cents in, and so that's going to be exciting.
Heck yeah. No, fans do love that stuff, like the belts and everything like that. They big time into it, and I got a lot of friends that are really into the championship titles, and you see them anytime you're at a convention. You see fans walking around with the titles and stuff. So that's a big thing. So that's a good idea too, for sure. So yes, onlywrestlers.com. Sign up today. Spread the word out about it, and be on the lookout for new content coming there, forthcoming and everything. So some cool stuff.
Growing all the time still. So
Yes.
hopefully by next week when we're talking, we'll be talking about the community chat room, because once we have that, we can do like interviews and stuff. I guess kind of like Reddit or whatever. But
Yeah.
And then eventually we're gonna have like a big window like this where we can do podcasts and stuff like that on there. But they got a lot of stuff on their list before that, so it's just a continuous path of growth, and everyone eventually, hopefully, will be curious enough to check it out because we're moving and we're having fun, and it's pretty cool, and it's there for you.
It's exciting stuff. It absolutely is. Only Wrestlers is for the fans, guys. So
it's for the fans and it's for the wrestlers too.
That's it. Balances all out. If you want to hear more stuff, like I said earlier, boom, subscribe to the podcast on your podcast feed of choice, whether it's Spotify or Apple.
I saw Matt Cordova.
Oh, Matt Cordona? Yeah.
Cordona, yeah. I saw something on Instagram of him talking about how awesome the experience is. I can't remember exactly. It was about a week ago, but it showed him in an autograph signing at the table, like meeting some kids or whatever. And he talks about something about, what a great moment that is. And then, for everybody, and it's so real. And then the kids are walking away or whatever. And I'm just thinking, that's where you tell them, hey, you can follow me on Only Wrestlers.
Yeah. That's
Matt
it.
Cordona totally needs that.
Yeah.
It's Chelsea Green, everyone, because then they can follow you and stay in touch with you, and you can keep in touch.
Keep that connection going. Keep that connection going.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the wrestlers are, some of them are like, well, I got Instagram already and this or that, but I find, like Only Wrestlers, I'll take you into the bathroom with me. I don't care. We're close.
We're hanging out, man. We're hanging out.
Yeah. Ain't nobody coming between us.
Nope. So yeah, onlywrestlers.com, guys. Check it out. If you like some merchandise, some exclusive merchandise too, be sure to go to 1tsport.com and you can see or scan that QR code up above Rob there. And you can check out the.
Oh, that's right. I should have worn my shirt.
That's okay. You can get it next week or whatever. Whatever is fine.
Yeah.
But check it out. There's a lot of different RVD designs there. You got a hat, 2 different hats you can get on there. So take a look at Rob's collection. We got Sabu on there. We got Fonzie on there. We got a whole bunch of legends on there. Bruiser Brody, you name it. We got a lot of big names on there. So check it out, 1tsport.com, and support the site, and you support the wrestlers in the same turn. So be on the lookout for that. Something else I was going to plug too. Greek Glass, be sure to go to that. Check that out. RVD420.com. And I thought there was one more thing. Either way, hey, I'll tell you about it next week. But Rob, did you want to do a RVDology, or we can table that for next week too if you want?
Yeah, let's just commit to doing it next week.
All right. I like it.
That'd be awesome to get out of here, and wish everybody well. And damn, you know what? Saturday I have this game show. I should have sent it to you so you could promote it.
Is it on your website?
No, I forgot I even have a website again. I forgot. I was like keeping up with that, and then I forgot again. Let's see. I'm in round 2. This guy does. It's called the New Network.
The New Network.
But it's spelled KNEW.
Oh, like I knew.
Yeah, the New Network /streams. Anyway, this guy, it's entertaining. It's funny. He's got 1 million celebrities on there, and we're doing rounds of this ongoing game show. And this will be round 2 for me. Yeah, there's so many. Everyone that I've ever worked with at every Comic-Con, and every athlete that I don't know, and lot of the wrestlers too are on there, and part of his gimmick is just his intro. Like you go to watch the game show, and like the first like 45 minutes, I think, is the intro. Of everybody, saying, "Hey, Evie, thanks for having me on. I can't wait to win this money. Let's go." It's just so long, and then he writes a huge intro that for each of his guests when he introduces them. He's got a big poem, very touching, puts a lot of work into it. It's a really unique experience, but I'm doing it because the winner will get money, $15,000, and a trip for 2 to Greece.
Whoa!
Yeah, so I'm like, I already let them know. I said, hey, if you guys, when I win this thing, if you guys come after me about which charity am I gonna? No. I said, I'm going to Greece.
I'm heading to Greece. That's what I want.
Yeah.
So, Rob, is it the Celebrity Grand Tournament? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, there's a lot of people on here. It's like Mickey
so many. Everybody I've ever met at any Comic Con for the last 30, 40 years. Every actor and a lot of my friends. Teddy Long, Mark Henry, Mandy Rose was on there last time.
Oh, no shit. I see you on here, Rob. So it says this is from January 27th. It's you versus Robert Davi versus Byron Scott, former coach of the Lakers. How about that? So
and guess who won? That's right.
Boom! Look at that.
That's why I'm moving forward, yo.
You're pretty good at trivia, though, aren't you, Rob? You just
this one's really weird, though. This one is you get judged by how good of an idea or thought. It's kind of like it's not so much about naming facts. It's more like you're going to be stranded on an island. What 3 people are you bringing with you? So, and then you got to make it interesting, thought-provoking, and then there's people that judge you. It's weird.
Wow, that's funky. That's interesting. I like it, though. What a cool concept to do, too. Good for him. That's great. Just
trying to think of what I had this weekend, and that's what I got going on Saturday.
Saturday. What a way to spend it. So good stuff. All right. Yeah. Well, be on the lookout. If you guys want to check out some of that stuff, you can go to thenewnetwork.com or KNEW network.com. So check that out. But
cool. It was fun. Awesome. All right, cool, man. Thanks, Dominator.
Rob. Yep. We'll see you guys next week here on One of a Kind with guess who? 2 seconds. 1, 2. Rob.
Thanks, Dam fam.
See you guys. Boom.